You are welcome to another special edition of the AAU TV News, and today we are bringing you a well-elaborated breakdown of COVID-19 and the marketplace. My name is Lydia Nyame. With me are
Jemima Daladem.
And my name is Ajaman Ochadako. We're glad that you had time to watch us, and we want you to do well to follow us on our social media platforms on Facebook and YouTube and the Association of African Investors. Please don't go anywhere. We'll bring you more of the special edition to this short break.
Welcome to GTP Health and Safety Corner. Charging up goes a long
You're welcome back from the break, and in our quest to finding out the current situation at the marketplace, the AAU TV News team went to the Medina Market in Accra, Ghana to survey the area and of course to speak to market women and some customers. Do have a look. I believe it is real, and I have had a few friends outside Ghana tell me how the virus is claiming lives in other countries. Beyond wearing my mask, I use my hand sanitizers after attending to customers, and I refuse to sell to customers without nose mask because of how deadly the virus is. Although I have not heard that anyone within the market has contracted the virus, it still scares me.
In fact, I don't believe the virus exists, and never will I wear the nose mask. Was a deadly virus not in existence during the campaign and election period? Why was there no law to ensure people adhere to the safety measures during that period? If the virus was really in the system, there would have been strict but they weren't. So I don't believe the virus is real. I don't know, and neither have I heard or seen anyone who was contracted the virus or perhaps who was infected by the virus.
I am one of the leaders in the market, and I must say that we have been advising the market women to wear their nose mask regularly, but they have deliberately refused to listen. I believe people who do not wear the nose mask are stubborn and disobedient. The virus, I must say, is real, but most often people give excuses such as not being able to breathe in the mask and not feeling comfortable in the mask. In fact, I believe they are just disobedient. Some people can even keep their mask in their pockets and not wear them. I have heard about the deadly virus, and I believe it is real, and that explains why I am in my nose mask. Aside the mask, I wash my hands regularly, only that it is hard and difficult ensuring social distancing in vehicles, considering public transport are back to loading full capacity. So I hope government will hear our plea and reduce the number of people in our transport to ensure social distancing. I advise my customers to wear their nose mask regularly because it is the little I can do to help. I believe you may have heard of the coronavirus disease.
Yes.
Do you believe it is real?
Yeah.
And what is your understanding of the COVID-19 disease?
To me, if you don't take care of yourself or you get in touch with a contact person, you can get it.
Okay. So far, do you know anyone who has contracted the disease?
No, please. But I've seen a lot of videos on social media.
Okay. I can see you in your nose mask, which is a very good one. So, good job. But I would want to know that beyond wearing the nose mask, what else have you done to protect yourself?
Okay, I have sanitizers that I use to sanitize my hands, and anytime I touch something, I have to wash my hands. Yeah.
And with you out of the equation, what else have you done to protect your customers?
Okay, like when a customer comes around, I advise the person that corona is real, so you should be safe. You should wash the hands, you should use the hand sanitizers, and you should cover the mouth and nose with the nose mask.
Do you believe the coronavirus disease is real?
Yeah, it's real. I believe. I really believe because if I watch what is going on television, then what is going on outside, I can see there is coronavirus. Yeah.
But do you know anyone who has the disease so far?
Actually, no. I don't know.
Okay, I can see in your nose mask, but aside that, what else have you done to protect yourself from the virus?
I always wash my hand when I go home. I always wash my hand, and my hand sanitizer, I have it in my bag. So if I finish right now, I will just use my hand sanitizer then.
I believe the virus is real. Therefore, I will advise everyone to adhere to all the precautionary measures put in place by the government, and that I believe will go a long way helping the country's effort to curb coronavirus. My understanding is that death awaits everyone who contracts the virus. Everyone must protect themselves. You can see me in my mask, but beyond that, I wash my hands and use my hand sanitizer when necessary. I will advise all market women to wear their masks because the second wave has become more deadly. People who contract it die as early as 2 days after contraction.
I believe the virus is real, and therefore everyone must protect themselves in order not to pass it on to other people. I am pleading with everyone to adhere to the precautionary measures, especially the wearing of the nose mask. Policemen have started to arrest persons who are found in crowded places without nose mask.
About only nose mask.
Interesting encounter coming from the marketplace, and of course you have seen everything for yourself. So do send in your comments and let's have an interaction section. Ajaman, I'll start with you. How would you describe the COVID situation at the marketplace in terms of people adhering to the protocols?
Well, I want to start by saying that we are seeing a much, or let's say, a fair adherence to the protocols and understanding of people who are players at the marketplace of how COVID is and what they ought to do. It's interesting to know that, I mean, we saw market women who were wearing their nose masks, who had sanitizers. Quite a number of them knew that there's COVID.
That's true.
And we ought to protect ourselves and protect the customer or the consumer. This is enough. But let me just put this across that we have three kinds of people as at now or anywhere, and also at the marketplace. We have people who are not wearing their mask correctly. We have that group that are wearing their mask correctly, and we have that group who are not wearing masks at all. You know, in the recent updates that the Ministry of Health brought, said we had 36% of Ghanaians wearing their mask correctly. We had 42% who are not wearing their mask correctly. That's 36%. We have 42% who were wearing their mask correctly, and 22% who were not wearing the mask at all. I would want to say that I appreciate the data as at now that we have 42% of Ghanaians, wherever they may be, who understand and appreciate the need for them to mask up. And also, even the 36% who are not even wearing their mask correctly, I would want to say that I appreciate the fact that they see the need to even have a mask on themselves. Oh yeah, I wish to make them understand that I appreciate the fact that at least they have this conscience that I need a mask. Maybe their reason for not wearing it correctly can be adjusted. I wouldn't want to go there now, but no.
What if their reason for wearing it is because policemen have started chasing them?
Exactly.
Well,
because that is what is happening.
That is what is happening.
What we
now.
wanted is we are achieving it. Whatever the reason may be, whatever the reason may be, you have a mask on. Unlike then.
I mean, what is the point in having a mask on if it is hanged around your ear?
It is better.
If it is beneath your lips.
I'm not saying
it's not
that.
Better.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that you should
better.
hang mask on your ear or hang it on your head, as I saw someone hanging his mask.
I mean, they
on his
are
head.
causing great loss to
Or in your
earring
pocket.
business.
But I want to say that if for one reason or the other, either the police is the reason why you even bought a mask, or you feel that COVID is that dangerous, so you need to buy a mask. Whatever the reason may be, you have a mask.
That's true.
I don't care what the reason is, but you have a mask on you. The only issue with you doing the right thing and not is just that understanding you need to get. We found somebody in the video wearing a nose mask below the nose level. Or let's say, which doesn't cover the nose. There may be a million reasons to that. Maybe I can't breathe very well, or perhaps I have been wearing this for the past 15 hours and I want to just breathe for a minute. So you captured that minute where the mask, or you saw him at that moment where the mask was not covering the nose, and then you judge him that's how he wears his mask. That is wrong. You have no idea. But on some other skills, there may be some ignorance, which we have to work hard to show that, you know what, in the beginning, we knew that it is true when you speak. No, when you speak, you may spit out, have some spits in the atmosphere that can spread COVID. But with the issue of when you breathe in and out and how you can spread, it wasn't that high. So now, we should now let people know that it's through both your nose and your mouth.
That's
so
true.
when you wear the mask, it should cover two places, very vital places, your nose and your mouth. Because these people may not be aware that the nose matters, but it's about because we talk through our nose.
That's great. Jemima?
I think the marketplace is quite, okay, I would say people are actually adhering, but some are not, because in the video I saw a woman walking as if, excuse me to say, there's nothing happening in Ghana. But I think there is more to be done at our marketplaces, because I would say that is the most congested place right now, and it needs more look. So I think education. We never stop learning. So I think there is more room for improvement, more room for education on our marketplace.
That's good. You know, clearly COVID numbers keep increasing each day, especially in the past few weeks. But would you say the marketplace is contributing to this increase in numbers?
I would say yes, it is, and I would say no. I would say yes because, well, as I said earlier, that place is the most congested. So anything can happen. It can spread very fast. And I would say no because the marketplace is not the only environment we have. We have offices. People are in their offices and they don't want to wear the masks. People are even in the church as at today, and you see them not wearing the masks. So I would say yes and I would say no with those reasons, because it's a lot on the ground for COVID to spread, but not only on our marketplace, because most of them are trying their best to adhere to the protocols, while most are also not helping. So
let's hear your thoughts.
You know, I'm glad you put the question in this way that no market women contributed by the marketplace. Yes, because market women are just also part of the bracket or the fraction of people who actually use the marketplace. Lots of people, buyers, sellers, distributors, farmers, they all pass through the market for one reason or the other. Now, if one person has a nose mask on, or is doing their best to protect themselves, and the other doesn't do the same, we still have the virus wallowing at the marketplace. And this is a place it's quite hard to control. You can't control the marketplace because our marketplace is that informal as an environment where so many things we do over there are not so structured. It's wide open. How do you structure these activities? Is why so we find quite a frustrating environment as a marketplace where it's open freely for everyone to and fro. So we can't say that people in there contribute, but the environment is such that it is contributive to the spread of COVID-19. The marketplace is a contributive and conducive place for COVID, not the players. Because we have to go there. When governments began banning the beaches and all that, these are areas we can control. But can you control where we can buy food to eat? We tried doing that last year. And believe me, we tried feeding everyone. You can't feed every Ghanaian, because every Ghanaian has their own preference, a very tough thing to do. So now, a marketplace as such is an environment that COVID can thrive in, which is hard to control, I must say.
Okay, now COVID can thrive in a marketplace. Now, I will take a quick break, and then after the break, we'll continue with the discussion.
Welcome to GTP Health and Safety Corner. Charging up goes a long well-being is in your hands. Sanitize regularly. Stay safe. GTP, timeless.
You're welcome back from the break, and if you just joined the discussion, we are talking about COVID-19 and the marketplace. Now, let's continue the discussion. I have a quite controversial question here. Can a person contract COVID from foodstuff being sold at the market? Ajiman, I'll start with you.
You know, it's a very, very dicey one right here. Let me say that there are so many people who have COVID in the marketplace and don't even know. And that's the most difficult one. Asymptomatic cases are a lot. And, you know, as of now, you should be so cautious that anything you buy on the streets, in fact, you should make sure that your hands are clean enough to consume it. Why would you want to buy something, an object, which is not consumable, let's say edible, and just take it home and then lay it there like that? I bet you will start to do some sanitizing, some spray something on it, because you never know who has touched it and where it's been. These things are things that we should be gathering as of now to keep yourself safe. How much more foodstuffs like tomatoes, cassava, or plantain, even touching them? People touch. Some consumers want to touch the foodstuff before they buy it. And some touch, they don't buy it. But you can't be sanitizing tomatoes or spraying alcohol on tomatoes. It's harmful. So it is now the onus lies on the consumer that when you buy these foodstuffs and when you go home, you treat them as best as possible to keep yourself safe, because you're consuming it from a very open environment that is prone to COVID-19.
That's true. Jemima, what do you think?
I think Ajima has said it. It depends on the individual how you should treat your vegetables, how well you should keep them, you should wash them, and in fact wash your hands regularly, especially after visiting the market. Wash yourself, get to your vegetables, keep them well, wash them thoroughly, and I think you are good to use
I see. You know, listening to your submission, I realized that you were mainly talking about uncooked food, but what happens to cooked food?
Yeah, I mean, as of now, if you're used to buying cooked food or convenient foods on the streets, if you're a regular buyer and you can't stop, maybe you should be very choosy or careful about where you buy your food now. Ensure that the vendor is that type who understands COVID.
That's true.
And not the one who shows COVID.
That's true.
Yeah. Somebody who's well prepared, well versed, wearing a nose mask, sanitized regularly in their shop or whatever they are, with a very clean environment before you feel like buying. Or else, believe me, you will buy yourself a nicely wrapped COVID case. Is that sad? Yeah.
That's true. You know, although quite a number of people captured in our reportage were seen in their nose masks, a few of them, or let me say even most were also not in their nose mask. What could possibly be their reasons?
I hear a lot of people making some flimsy excuses, like, you know, during the election year, no one came out to talk about we wearing masks, and immediately after election, now policemen are outside arresting people for not wearing nose masks. And I think in a way it's true, because during the election, the president didn't come out to say anything. And even during campaigns, even if the leaders of parties made it known, did they enforce it at their campaign, you know, at their campaign events? That is another thing, because it's another thing saying it and it's another thing doing what you are saying. You, the leader, talking about it, it should start from you. You should be in yours, so that your members or whoever comes to your events would also listen to your advice regarding the virus. Because so that is one. And another thing is, I heard someone make a funny statement that it is their time to die. So whoever didn't wear it, that contracted it, is actually dying. But that is not a serious point. But some people also find it difficult to breathe. You know, I think that is one major reason. Through this, I think the health, our frontliners, our doctors can bring out advice on people who find it difficult to breathe when they are in the masks, because it's sometimes difficult. So I think there are some things that they need to open up to us that can help us, and even help those people who find it difficult to wear it. Because I know those who are not wearing it out there may have, let me say, a little good reasons for not being in it. And some too is just don't care.
That's good. Ajaman, I can't let such
we've heard so many outrageous comments about people not wearing their masks. Somebody says that it's for the affluent. I mean, you just can't say these things because now the second spike has beaten the odds.
That's true.
It takes the young, the old, the rich, the poor, everyone. Now, the fact that you've not experienced COVID doesn't mean it's not there. You and I know it's there.
That's true.
So for you who's saying that I won't wear my mask, you are endangerment to society. But let's now move ahead to what you refer to as an election rally and all that. Prior to the rally, which was, the rally, these are just things that we passed through. But the main activity was towards an election, in lieu to an election, which is constitutional. These things are normal things happen. When you find a convoy with the president in it, you find people running towards the convoy. It is not called for, but people do it because it's a natural thing. We want to see them and hear from them. But prior to these rallies, the president had addressed the people of Ghana on several times, for 11 times, I guess so, giving us updates and also reasons why we should be protected. So why then should someone say that you organized a rally and then you didn't announce that you wear my nose mask? But you know you should wear a nose mask.
Yeah, but that was a discussion prior to the
so
election.
you now know that the regular,
So
the new
during
normal,
the election,
you knew the new normal was what? Wear your nose mask. So why then should you say, I walked to a rally without a nose mask and no one advised me to? Why should you be advised? Because you know the new normal was what? Be strapped up with your nose mask.
Ajaman, I like it when you said, how do you know the virus is there? How did you and I got to know the virus was there?
We're educated.
Our leaders
Exactly.
informed us. Let me make a point, please. Our leaders informed us. And like you said, prior to the elections, our presidents came to address us from time to time. It was frequent.
Yeah.
It was frequent.
Exactly.
From time to time, he did address us on the state and then how to curb the whole COVID-19 measures put in place. But then the moment the campaign started, this address came to a halt. It came, please, let me make my point.
Sure.
It came to a halt. The president never addressed that officially, that this is the total number of cases, these people are dying, this is happening, this is, so in that state, it gives Ghanaians the notion, because I was part, it gives me the notion that the numbers have gone down, one. It gives me the notion that perhaps the whole situation isn't as scary as it is before, because if you would remember, before the campaign started, a lot of social gatherings had been banned. And those social gatherings were nothing compared to the rallies organized during the campaign time. And it is okay for Ghanaians to just go to these rallies without their nose masks, but then come on, Ajaman.
No, the point here is that, it is an individual preparation or war towards COVID-19.
I understand that.
So if one said that we were ignorant about protecting ourselves, that's a no-starter. We cannot pamper a point that we were ignorant that there was COVID-19. We knew there was COVID. Then you say that, you claim, you're trying to bring an impression that it got to a point where we had no address. We feel that it was getting better. This is not something we should encourage.
Beyond
we
that,
all knew that the new normal, there was a new normal, right? Which was hand sanitizer, regular hand washing, social distancing, and nose mask. The mob action, or let's say people clamoring together, is an uncontrollable thing, which you and I know that when it comes to these times of election, all that, these are things we can't even control. Even during these election times, the electoral commissioner did as much as they could to bring social distancing and all that. But at the end of the day, you and I choose to what? Just mass up.
I understand.
So when these things happen, we say it is now to the populace or to the individual citizen to play their civil role and not now wait for another a governing address just to put you and I on our toes. We know this. So at that point, I want to put it to you all, or let's say everyone out there, that at that point, every Ghanaian knew that there was COVID-19 and what had to be done to keep yourself safe was you wear a nose mask.
Much as you are saying at that time, every Ghanaian was aware there was COVID. You know, a lot of Ghanaians did not believe it, right?
That is a funny thing.
And then, dealing with people who don't even believe COVID was real in the first place, and now you organize huge rallies.
No, you see,
where the leaders themselves are not wearing the nose mask. how do you expect me,
The
a
follower,
common Ghanaian, to believe that indeed COVID is real?
You know, the issue about leaders wearing those masks and not wearing those masks. You know, those times where I wouldn't want to describe. I don't even know what happened those times because I wasn't there at the rally. I wasn't at the rally.
Okay.
But those who went to the rallies, if you were wearing your nose masks, then you are safe. If you went there without a nose mask, then you are at risk. So it all boils down on the individual. But it's unfortunate that at that time, many people didn't believe. And they may be the ones who may be spreading it. Because this same virus, which is evolving, has an aspect called asymptomatic symptoms, or people who are infected but don't show symptoms. A very dangerous part of it. And in that case, if you think it's not there, it's resistant, and then you are asymptomatic, you are a big threat.
Yeah.
So basically then we thought that we could control them. But now, in the second spike, there's no new way we can tolerate anybody who is without a nose mask. And that's where we really have to
let me chip this in because in the first spike, we realized we had huge numbers, but it was nothing compared to now. And then the death was nothing compared to now because over the past few weeks, analysis says about 10 people lose their lives in the country each day. And it's scary because it didn't used to be like that. You could live for quite a number of days before a few people lose their lives. But now it is not like that. So I think it has gone beyond the part where we need to apportion blames on people. Now it's an individual affair. So perhaps Ghanaians should think about themselves and not what someone should have done that they did not do. You think about yourself, you mask up, you adhere to all the precautionary measures.
Each day somebody gets arrested on the streets.
That's true.
And they have their own reasons why. How can we fight a war like this? There we go again.
I would like to ask if Ghana and our marketplace in general, or let me say especially, still needs more education on COVID, much as a lot has been said.
Absolutely. I think that education in any case has no limits. We have to be consistent, deliberate, and persistent with everything we do with regards to education. At these critical moments where people still doubt the effect of COVID-19, everything we have to do should be deliberate and tailored, especially with our marketplaces. I think that we should now have a marketplace outlook where every part you pass has an indication of COVID-19 or giving you a heads up about COVID-19. These market women have tables, they have tables. We should just start branding them that wear your nose mask, wear your nose mask. Every part of the marketplace should have an indication giving you the passerby, either a buyer, supplier, farmer, distributor, that notion that, hey, for these grounds, we are aware that there's COVID, and therefore we want you to protect yourselves so we can also be protected. If we start doing things like this, people will feel the need to start doing the right thing, because the marketplace that was now the open place is now a place where people are well sensitized and aware of this virus.
That's true. Jemima, what measures can be taken to reduce the spread of COVID at the marketplace?
I think we all know the measures, but then I'll still go through your hand washing, your face masks. If possible, you can add the face shield because you are so exposed at the market. Then your regular hand washing, keeping your distance. That brings me to the point where I think, I don't know how it's going to be possible, but I think at our marketplaces, there should be a certain, everyone with their stuff. At one point, this one at another point, there should be gaps, there should be a little spaces, even though it's not really going to be possible, but I think a little space would do. That little space, there should be the Veronica buckets with the water, the soap, so that anyone who gets there, can wash their hand before exchanging money, exchanging whatever it is that they want to buy. I think that should also help because our marketplaces are too congested. And I think a little space, even though it can't be really possible, but a little space should help. Yeah.
I mean, for mini markets, we can have a central point. How to say a unified entry and let's say exit point. Can have a vertical bucket of water, soaps, so we can now know that if you enter, you must wash your hands. But for other marketplaces that I know that has a million entries and exits, you can't ensure that you put you station a vertical bucket. But it is now up to you. See, so the war of COVID, fighting COVID, all boils down to the individual.
That's
no
true.
matter what happens in this country,
Yeah.
if you lose guard on your nose mask, sanitizer, hand washing, distancing protocols, you have sold yourself out to COVID.
That's true.
Yeah.
Nobody will be held responsible for you. Believe me, you need to understand that COVID, though it's a collective fight, it starts with you. There's a saying of the forest looks so unified, as if we have a very big tree with just one stem. But when you enter the forest, you realize that these are different trees together. But at afar, you think it's one big tree. Yes, we're a country, government is doing its best to ensure we're all safe. But if you don't do your part, believe me, you sell yourself out.
You know, I want to share an experience. I went to the marketplace a few weeks ago to get some items. I approached this market woman, told her I was buying this particular thing. She wasn't in her nose mask when I got there, but soon as she saw me, she went for her nose mask, touched the mask, did not wash her hands, nor sanitize her hands, and then went straight forward to pick up the item and then packaged it for me. I mean, she was a grown woman, so I couldn't say anything. But I think it is wrong. So, like Ajaman is saying, it's an individual affair. Psych your mind that you are helping yourself, and then in turn, you end up helping someone else. Because, I mean, if you are putting on the mask and you are not washing your hands, beyond you giving me the item with the contaminated hands, let me put it like that, you can also put your hands in your eye. You may touch it with your nose, because obviously you will take off your nose mask again. So, we need to treat it as an individual affair to be able to help ourselves and then save a lot of lives.
Yeah, I mean, if we begin to understand that we are all gullible to COVID in terms of how we can spread it. You know, how many times in a day do you forgetfully just rub your hands on your face just to get just scrap something? These things happen all the time. And if you were in a situation where you had COVID, let's say, touch something, like touch your hair, then you spread it. So you can see that there are many people, it will surprise you, there are many people in Ghana, if we were to conduct, let's say, a national COVID-19 test, believe me, you'll find many people who have COVID. That would actually be more than the number of active cases we have right now, or confirmed cases in our hospitals. It means that there are so many people out there are asymptomatic, and they don't even know that they are, especially in the marketplace.
Yeah.
That's
So
true.
if you don't protect yourself, believe me, this war of COVID is going to be like catching the wind. We just won't make a headway.
That's
And we
true.
need to be sure that we take care of ourselves.
Okay, you know, in order to end the conversation, I want us to discuss how market women can ensure customers adhere to the protocols. Beyond the Veronica buckets that Jemima did mention at first, what else can market women do?
I think whoever buys from you, you know, if the person is not in a mask, you don't sell it. Even though it's a risk, it's a risk you are taking, but I think it should help. Because if all market women, or let me say everyone selling at the market, both men and women, could come together and say that, okay, I'm not selling to whoever is not in a mask, I think it will help. It will make everyone going out to buy something, you know, have the mental picture, or think that, or to know that, okay, if I don't wear masks, wherever I'm going to buy, I won't get what I'm going to buy. So it will go a long way to help. It will get everyone to help wearing it. Yeah,
Today-
that's another thing.
Today in Ghana, as Jerome has mentioned, today in Ghana, the police is enforcing the wearing of nose masks. If we find you not wearing nose masks, you will be arrested.
Yeah.
So now people on the streets are now seeing the need to wear their nose masks. Well, I appreciate the fact that they wear their nose masks. Whether it's the police or not, they wear them.
That's
At the
true.
marketplace, that is not an open, uncontrollable point. As I said, even though COVID can thrive there, we can still control what happens at the marketplace. We have market authorities. We have local assembly heads, assemblymen, local district assemblies. What are they doing fighting this spread in the marketplaces? Market women should decide, whoever you are, you must ensure that you wear your nose mask, or else we won't buy from you.
Yeah.
If the customer sees the need that a buyer, or let's say a seller, without a nose mask is a threat to your life, you wouldn't buy from them. And I don't want to be the one announcing someone's doing or market. You have to wear your nose mask. So these leaders or these market authorities should ensure that every woman that works through the gate that early morning has a nose mask, or else you can't sell in the market, because the most important person here is the buyer, because I am the reason why you're waiting for me at the market. So if you don't put yourself in a good place, protect yourself very well for me, then what are we doing here? So we must ensure that the market women who look forward to find me buy from them must protect themselves. So I can also buy from them.
Yeah.
We also protect, okay, when I come in with a nose mask, you can ask me out. And it must be done strictly, because we can't joke with COVID-19.
That's very true. So market women, do ensure that your customers adhere to the protocols, and customers must also ensure that market women also adhere to the protocols. Now, this is where we end today's discussion on COVID-19 and the marketplace. I hope you had a great show and you enjoyed every bit of it. Do stay tuned, and next week, same time, same day, we'll bring you another special edition. My name is Lydia Nyame. With me are...
And my name is Ajaman Ochodako. Do what to just stay protected. Wear your nose mask, have a sanitizer, wash your hands regularly under flowing water, and also keep that distance. Have a nice day and bye.